Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Freedom's Front Porch. I'm Jen Baker, and I'm here with Tammy Jackson and Mr. Nicole Reffitt, Guy Reffitt. He's filling in for Nicole right now, and while she uh, has going through her healing process, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But welcome back, and we're super excited to be here. We got lots and lots and lots and lots to talk about. Tammy, Guy, hello.
Hello,
Hello.
Jen.
All
How are
right.
we
So,
doing
Hi,
today?
Tammy.
well, today, so we want, first of all, we want to give you guys an update. So far, if you guys tuned in last week to our show, we had Shayna Gaviola on, and she was uh, telling us her story. She's a single mom who was protecting her son by not allowing the commies in California to transition him. And he was 16 years old at the time, I believe, and it just turned into a huge mess. She tried to get him some help by sending him to a boarding school, a Christian boarding school in Missouri, and everything just went haywire. And she was federally charged, and one of the charges was like trafficking her child, which is just unbelievable to me. But the commies in California, of course, found her guilty. There was tons of prosecutorial misconduct by not just the prosecutor, but the FBI agent, the judge. Like it's just horrific. She had to turn herself in to prison yesterday, and so I mean things are looking good. We're hoping and praying that she gets out here, and they let her out on appeal, or pending her appeal. But the fact of the matter is she had to go to prison yesterday. So just keep her in your prayers and your thoughts, and you know uh, call the whoever. Let's see, we'll figure that out. Call the BOP. Call the. Oh, thank you for putting that up. You know, go ahead, and if you'd like to give to her, give send go. She does have an appeal coming up, and the legal fees are not easy. We all know that, seeing all the destruction of J6, and what the legal fees could do to a family, and to people's lives. So um go ahead and you know post things and tag AG, Todd Blanche and Alice Johnson, even, and especially POTUS, because Tammy, Guy, like, this happened on Trump's watch. This is our uh conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call this administration. It's on their watch, on our watch, that she is sitting in jail, and not jail, prison right now. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that it is just another prime example of you can elect a president, but that doesn't change who is working at the FBI. That doesn't change who's working at the DOJ. You know, Trump is one man. He can only do so much. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of power, of course, but we had the same miscreants at the FBI that were there hunting down J6ers. They're still there hunting down J6ers. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same evil that we're fighting. You know, those people weren't removed when Trump came into office. All
Mm-mm.
of those prosecutors and all of those AGs, they weren't removed. They're still there. And so we, as conservatives, we're still having to fight an evil regime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy, what you think?
Well, that's true. I mean, that's absolutely true. And we as the Americans are trying to help call this out. We need those that are seeing us post these and making these podcasts and discussing these issues to pay attention. We need everybody out there to tag these folks. The AG and the president, and just I know Ed Martin's leaving, but somebody's going to fill that spot. So we need to start getting in with the Civil Rights Division, and we need to tag these folks. That they're still there. It's hard to clean out the rot, and that's something I know they've tried to do, but there's so much rot. It's been there for so long that
Yeah.
we have to keep calling this out. We can't leave it laying here, or people like Shayna will be, sitting in prison, and that's absolutely abhorrent.
Right. And
Right.
they just it it's just so frustrating because they seem to continue to, you know, put put the heel of their boot on the back of our necks with impunity, and like it just like they don't care, It's like they still have that kind of power, and but it doesn't take a minute for all of this stuff to happen. It's gone over, decades that we have made this so it's possible for them to do this, and it's not going to take a minute just to get to clear it out. It's
Well,
going to take a while.
it's bureaucracy, and it's the unelected bureaucratic officials that are running this country, and we've been allowing it to happen for so long. The staffers in DC really are what runs the country. The
Yeah.
congressmen and congresswomen, they're too busy getting drunk. They're too busy insider trading and screwing each other on the Senate floor. You know what I mean? Like
That's
they got a lot of other stuff to do besides work for the American people.
I have a
And the
weekend at
bureaucrats,
Bernie's on the Senate floor.
yeah, I mean, the bureaucrats, these staffers are the ones, they're the ones using the auto pin and all this other stuff that was going on, during the Biden administration. But also, they're still there. Those same staffers are still working in DC.
Yeah. A
Like
prime
nothing
example is,
changes.
look at Mitch McConnell.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a zombie
Where
walking.
is he?
Who are these
Where's
people that
Maxine
are around him?
Waters?
Right.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
are they? Why are they
Who's
not working, and why are they still getting a paycheck?
who's running weekend at Bernie's, a weekend at Mitch's? I mean, this is crazy. We have these staffers barely holding these. I mean, these people are being held up, propped up by their staffers. They're zombie walking. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
those staffers are the rot that we ain't got rid of. There's still so much to do. The
Exactly.
bureaucracy that bloats up in these staffers that get control. And the rot is like getting fat. That's so easy. Getting skinny again, that's hard. So
Right.
it's going to take a lot of work to get these people out of the system, because they're absolutely they're violating our rights. They're violating everybody's rights, and they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have any account. There's no accountability for them because, everything can be blamed on the politicians. And then we can fight about Democrat and Republican and Democrat and Republican. But really, it's these bureaucrats that they go from one congressman's office to the next. These election cycles happen, and then these staffers get milled around. And it's, the same probably 200 people in
Right.
DC, and they're all these ultra progressive, totally left leaning, young, very, lots of aspirations, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're just, it's like they're indoctrinated with brainwashed. They're brainwashed. It's
Yeah.
the,
And
yeah,
then
that's the only way I
when
can
they're done
describe it.
there, they go and they like spread out to all the different organizations or agencies all across in DC. So it's not like they're done with their staffer position and they go away. No, they embed themselves, and so um
Right. They're the ones starting the next NGO for the next,
right,
Democrat slush fund.
right. Or they
They're
become a
building their
lobbyist.
resume.
Yeah,
Yes, they're building their resume right now. Oh, well, I worked for so and so and so and so, and now I work for Pfizer,
right.
and I lobby these same congressmen and women that I, staffed for 10 or 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It always
Well,
ends back. It always ends up back in the same seat of our capital. Always comes full circle.
yep, 100%.
Hmm.
So, that's, I mean, we went from Shayna right down. I mean, it's just the um the nastiness of what our government is. It just everything leads right to the center of the government. Like it just everything leads there. So but you guys say prayers for Shayna. We're big prayers, and tag those people, make those phone calls. We'll keep you updated on her, and either through our social media or next week when we come back. But now we're going to talk about our lovely Nicole Reffitt. And we got about a minute. Guy, why don't you tell people, just give them a little drip, and then we'll come back after the break and we'll talk about what's going on with Nicole. But Guy, I'll let you tell.
Well, she's going to end up with the blessing of patriots in her smile when this is all over with. But she's going through some stuff with her dental, but she's a warrior, and we'll get into the details a little bit here very shortly. But
Yeah,
she's amazing. She's doing
well,
really good.
she's convalescing. And what's really great is that you've got a little bit of time off, so you can, be there when she rings the little bell, and and she's got cute little Oliver. You guys, that's Oliver right there.
That's right.
Um, she's got him there, so you guys are taking good care of her, and we'll talk about Nicole like she's not around when we get back. When we get back from the commercial break. Thank you guys for joining us again this week, and we will see you in just about 3 minutes or so.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land. I've been there, I looked, I tried to see. Here I am in New York City, watching a nice sunrise. Not really. I'm in the warehouse. I'm telling you about a conservative organization, not the AARP loser, left wing, forget about it. This is where you need to be. You get everything conservative menus. America.us/TAFW.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Hey Patriots, we're excited to bring to you Sugar Creek Goods, all natural quality skincare products brought to you by great patriots like we are here. That's why we brought this into the America First Warehouse. All these great natural products are amazing, and you can get them on our website and go right to www.sugarcreekgoods.com/TAFW. These are phenomenal products. I love them all. And this one right here is for Patriot Pup. Thank you so much for supporting us.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free. In the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
All right, welcome back, you guys. Jen Baker here with Tammy Jackson and Guy Ruffett. Welcome back to Freedom's Front Porch. Um, so what Guy, what asset was it that we want to
Asset two.
asset
Asset two.
two? Um,
Fuck that up.
y'all y'all can follow us on X, and we're also on Facebook underneath our names. But follow us on X, and we'll give you guys updates on pretty much everything. But what we're talking about now is Nicole Reffett. So um, follow us for updates on her. And we're gonna, Tammy, I want you to start this off because we all love Nicole, and Guy's kind of biased since he's married to her. But and you lived with her, and you saw all the stuff that she did for everybody, and I don't think people understand how much Nicole Reffett did for 4 years of her life, not just for her husband, but for every single J6er. So why don't you let people know?
Well, and this isn't, I'm not trying to just, pat Nicole on the back and say, oh, you did such a great job, but she did do something extraordinary, which is, the guy's case was the first J6 case to go to trial. And she sat through that process and realized how messed up it was, and how absolutely wrong it was that they were doing in those courtrooms. And so she made it her mission, really, to go and sit in as many of the court cases as she could. Nicole sat in hundreds of J6 trials and hearings, and not just the trial itself. She would go to the voir dire. She would go to the picking of the juries. She would make notes. She was the one person, sometimes the only other person, sometimes in the courtroom when some of these people didn't even have family members there. And then when they did have family members there, she was the only other person in the courtroom with them. And, she prayed with them, and she, just, she was there. She bared witness to what was happening in those courtrooms. And I told her many times, she should take those notebooks that she's got and write a book, because, the American people really should know what's going on in these courtrooms. You think that the justice system is working the way it should because that's just what you believe, but it doesn't. And there's so many instances that she has recorded, like, of every trial. I mean, she, through every phase of the process, she was there through
Yeah,
many of these trials, and almost all the plea hearings. I mean, she went to not just court hearings, but also to committee hearings. She was one of the only people, her and Roy from Danville, Pennsylvania, were the only two people in the J6 community that made it into the SCOTUS 1512 hearing. She went there to bear witness for us, to represent us. And, you know, Nicole's a warrior. She is a tough lady. Like, if you need something done, like that requires physical work, Nicole's your gal, because she can do it. And she's not afraid of hard work. And she did it every single day, whether she was tired, whether she was emotional about her own personal situation she was going through. She was out there on that corner, as well as taking care of her kids back home emotionally through a phone, which is not an easy thing to do. I know, because I was there with her doing it with my own kids,
yeah,
but it's hard. But it was a sacrifice that she felt like was very important to make, to bear witness. And she did that for all of us. She sat and prayed with so many families that didn't have anybody there with them. They were terrified. But one person that comes to mind is Jeannie Randolph.
yeah,
She, just this poor little country girl from the backwoods, didn't have any idea of what she was about to be facing. And when she, was sitting there by herself in that courtroom, Nicole said, no, no, I'm going to sit with you. I'm here to help you get through this, and I'm here to pray with you. And we're here for you no matter what you need. Just, lean on us.
yeah. And it wasn't about her just going and sitting there and saying, "Oh, I'm here for you." She knew everything about these people's cases. And
Yeah.
I'll still call her and be like, "Hey, can you give me info on so and so's case?" "Oh yeah." La, 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 la. And it's not just like like she has to look in her notebook. She knows it. That's how much, because she cared. She absolutely
She-
cared.
yeah, very invested in the welfare and well-being of other J6ers, not just her J6er.
Right.
So, sometimes it's easy to forget what people have done and where they've been if you don't see them for a while. So I just thought maybe everybody needed a little reminder of who Nicole is in our little group of people in this little movement. She's the one that was there with Mickey from the word go. None of us knew each other. She didn't know Mickey before this process. I didn't know her before this process. We're all strangers. Moved into a house together, totally upended our lives, which were already being upended, and made it work. And it it was a beautiful thing. Like I've said many times, it was a God walk for
Mhm.
all of us to be brought to this place at the same time and go through this together. But I don't think it would have been the same without Nicole for sure.
Yeah. And then welcoming strangers to your home. Like
Yeah.
not just, people that you kind of know, like strangers. And like just I don't know. Y'all are my heroes.
Oh, we love
Are
Um,
you know?
it.
Um
Yeah.
and Guy, like, I mean, you
Something I would something I would share with you, everybody. And she may not be happy with it, but sometimes I don't always make her happy. So, but I listened to her because she would call me after. She would go and sit in some of those things. It destroyed her. It was so hard for her. She was. It's That's such an emotional thing. But she tried to stand as strong for everybody as she could when she was in there. But when she was out of there, I got that other side. And so she's such a passionate woman. She has so
mhm,
much love for everybody that she was there with. You ladies, and all of the J6ers that she sat with and the families. There was some times that we talked on the phone. It's heart wrenching what the government did to our people, what they did to free loving patriotic Americans. And that's heart wrenching. But Nicole, she's a warrior. She's my hero. And there's no way of comparing that to most anybody else in the world. I've always called her my Abigail Adams because she stood by my side throughout this whole thing, and she stood by so many people's side throughout the whole thing.
mhm.
And you know, I owe her everything. I owe that woman everything. She's
well, she
amazing.
was
Well,
Well, now she needs our help now because she is going through a really hard time, and that hard time is she's literally had all of her teeth ripped out of her head.
yeah,
So, she had a severe infection in her mouth, and she's had issues with her teeth for a long time since she was a young girl, and it's just finally got to the point where she cannot go on any longer in that way. So it was evidently a serious enough infection that they wanted to rip all of her teeth out, and now
well,
she's got to have new
Dennis
teeth.
Dennis called
So
it
we
an
want,
emergency more than once in that conversation, and so there was no choice. He moved some things around, and by the next morning, they were yanking teeth.
yeah. So we want Nicole to be able to eat steak again one day, and enjoy the things that she loves. Like cheese and all the good stuff. So
More
and
than
like
just
we,
scrambled eggs.
yeah, and I
and
know she
Guy's
loves her soup.
potato soup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
my
she loves
potato
her
soup,
soup.
please don't anybody ever have to eat that. I mean, I couldn't even feed it to the animals outside. It went bad. I am not a cook.
So yeah, if you guys feel so inclined, please donate. Even if all you can do is $5 or $10, that means the world a difference for Guy and Nicole, and we just want to help her get back on a road to recovery so that we can see her beautiful face back on the screen with us Not that we don't love Guy. We do. We love you, Guy, but she's prettier.
She is way prettier. But if we get, we just want to build her bigger, better, faster, stronger with the blessing of the Patriots that we have. I mean, I can handle the bills. It was a pretty hard hit, this situation. So, but
Yeah.
God bless everybody. And we're thankful and we're honored, and she's very humbled. I know that, even if she says it funny without her teeth, and it is so cute. But
Well, she's somebody that never asked for help and was always there to help everybody else. So we're asking that you please help her any way you can, whether it's getting on our socials and reposting our posts about it, or giving, $1, $5, whatever. And so, yeah. Do we want to leave them with a question? We got about 56 seconds left. We got a question for you guys for the next segment. Do we want to leave that with them, Tammy? Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. We can go ahead and let it pose the question.
Pose the question.
So the question is, what do y'all think about the arrest of Jake Lang in Minneapolis? And do you think the arrest is going to stick? Number one. And number two, what do you think this means for the rest of his legal troubles? I mean, he's on probation in DC, and his stipulation is to not get arrested again. So I think he might have some trouble there. But what do you guys think about what happened in Minneapolis? Let us know. Leave us some comments on the live chat, and we'll come back and answer you guys in about 3 minutes.
Beneath the Texas sky, I can rope and ride like daddy, and I never ever cried. But now the world's a-changing, girls must cover up to their eyes. Don't wanna be sold to some old man, I'd really rather die. So just go home. Just go home. Just go home. Sharia law's not welcome over here. Just go home. Take your medieval rules and stick them in your ear. Just go home. Your Sharia law will never rule our land. Just go home. We've got the Second Amendment to help you understand.
right, welcome back, you guys. Before the break, we posed a question: what, how people feel about what's gone on with Jake Lang, um, and looks like people are, they're kind of supporting him in that this is, it was all gone, it had all gone wrong, in the sense that he was set up, and people are really pissed off. They don't want the Sharia crap happening, and they don't want Islam or Muslims. They can't cohabitate with with our culture. They don't mix. They don't want what we want. They don't want to assimilate, and which just blows my mind. It's like, why would you want to come here? Stay in your own, like, stay where it's, I don't get it. But Guy, go ahead and bring us into why we started talking about this, because there's a lot that went on in Minneapolis.
The thing in Minneapolis is very controversial because it's, you don't like Jake. That's fair. I think that's fair. You don't have to like it, but I think what we saw, my personal feeling about it was that it's not right that he showed up and just wanted to be the pain in the ass that Jake Lang can clearly be, and he has the right to do it. It's his First Amendment right. That's his freedom of expression. But whenever he was violently assaulted, and then the only, the significance of the arrest were him and his guys, and then the press conference with the Mayor Fry, or whatever his name is, with the lies that he put out there, I feel like that we're right back into the same situation where the weaponization and the process is the punishment is still, again, like we said earlier, it's not gone. It's still here. You don't have to like Jake, but you have to like your constitutional rights. And when I look at that situation, I have questions and I have problems with it. Is he an asset? Is he a Fed? I don't know, man. And I know it. I did time with him, but there's something not right about that situation when a guy can't go out there and be the asshole he wants to be, which is very, they seem to like doing their asshole stuff every day, and nobody seems to be taking them to the same task. I have questions, I have issues, I have problems with it all. Spider-Man jumps in there and does the assault, and then the chaos ensues. So who incited the riot? Was it Spider-Man? Which I believe his name is Matthew Love.
Right.
Who incited the riot? Was it him?
They told them to park where they were parked, and there was nobody there on the sidewalk. As right. I believe you have a picture to show that.
Yeah, let's bring up asset one, guys. So in looking at asset one, they claim that there was all these crowd that the vehicles were, going towards, and yet in the picture that we're bringing up, I hope, where are we at there, guys? Asset one.
Yeah.
You can clearly see when they came around the building that there was nobody there. That's
right.
them. They had just pulled up, and they claimed that they pulled up to a crowd, yet the crowd doesn't even get there until they get to the front doors, and you see these few folks back there on the right, and so it's a lie. And they're claiming that they pulled up into a crowd of people, but my information is being told that they were told to come around those barriers back there around the corner and come up there in that area by the police department. And then you see the crowd get violent, and as soon as they pull up, what happens? A huge group of police officers come filing out those doors that they pull up to. So does that seem right to everybody? Questions, or the questions that I have that I'm asking everyone out there. What do you think? I don't like it. Personally, I don't like it, but I'd like to know. We want to know what you think, folks. Let's hear from you on that. And that'd be something that we could work with. I don't like it, but then there's a lot of things I don't like, and a lot of people don't like Jake, and that's fair.
It seems like entrapment, because the police told them where to be and then arrested them for being there. So in my mind, it does seem like this would be an easy case for Jake to be able to get discharged. However, the punishment is the process. So I don't know what that's really going to mean. He may have to spend 3 or 4 months in jail before anything happens, and then so that's his constitutional rights being violated. And like you said, whether you like Jake or not, that's not even the point. I don't really particularly care for him because of his antics, but I don't necessarily disagree with the things that he says. I disagree with the way he says them and the things that he does because I think it makes all of us look bad. I think that there's a better way to go about things, but I'm not Jake, and I've said many times about my own husband, it's not illegal to be an asshole. It's
Right.
just not.
Because if it was
Like you
illegal,
might
I'm
not.
sure I'd be in prison a long time before J6.
Well, we'd all be in prison, so
We'd all be.
like we all have a way about us sometimes. But you don't have to like somebody to agree with their opinions on certain things. Like I like Trump, for instance, and I agree with a lot of his opinions, but I don't agree with all of his opinions. I don't agree with
Right.
everything he does. I agree with a lot of the things he does, but not everything. With Jake, I'm pretty much the opposite. I don't agree with most of the things he does. I agree
Right.
with some of the things he says, but I'm not going to put myself or my husband in any jeopardy of going to jail. So we would never be in any of those places with him
Right.
because it's too much of a. It's not that we don't want to stand up for Americans or not that we like Sharia or any of that. It's that he conducts himself in a way to antagonize, to instigate, to
Right.
put yourself in a position to go to jail. And that's just not a position I'm willing to let my husband be in again.
Yeah. He
So
forces that
while
controversy.
Well,
right.
somebody,
And maybe go ahead, Jen.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say, Tommy Tatum, who's, he's a supporter of Freedom's Front Porch and J6. He's a J6er, and so a lot of you know who he is, but he just said that Jake Lane will not face charges after he was arrested in Minneapolis on riot charges. Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty announced today, so he's not going to
But I
face
don't
charges.
think that ends I don't
But
think that ends his legal issues because he
No.
is on
he was
probation in
still
DC.
arrested. Right.
A stipulation of that probation is that you don't get arrested.
Right.
Now, he may have to go back in front of the DC judge to get out, which is going to take several weeks just to even get back to DC because
Yeah.
they'll transfer him. The diesel therapy is another part of the punishment.
A nightmare.
Yes, and that is something that is used a lot to break these guys down. And Jake is not a guy to be broken down. It's just going to irritate him more, and he'll just
He's
get
the
out
Energizer Bunny.
and tweet some more,
He'll,
and do some more.
he'll raise
Yeah,
a lot more money
it
the
doesn't seem
worse
like
it
very
gets.
good.
So
Yeah,
what's
exactly. And so, go ahead.
talking about raising money, but there's there's that on both sides. And Guy has brought up some interesting points to Tammy and I, and we want to talk about that with this organization that just seems to be popping up. Um, Guy, talk to us about it.
Yeah, let's
Sorry,
go ahead and
Tammy.
put up asset 3. So, and I'll talk about this while we have asset 3 up. So listen, so if you'll pay attention to the videos and everything that's going on in front of that city hall where this is all happening, you'll notice there's a lot of insignia that is the FRSO, which is the Freedom. What
Socialist.
is it? Yeah, it's the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, which is it's the new Communist Party. So these folks right here were the ones that were out there doing a whole lot of the activity. They were assaulting people. They were organizing. You'll see high vis vests. You see a lot of signs and hats and shirts, and their headquarters is in Minneapolis. And if you'll go to asset 4, so this is their stated goal, is that they're here. Their entire organization is built off of tearing down the monopoly capitalism in America, and their goal is to create and build the new Communist Party in America. So when you see these kind of things, and their stated goal is to relatively destroy our capitalist society and our government and our way of life, how this is not being investigated by the Department of Justice and the FBI and the Civil Rights Division for what they're doing, it's a violation. They're violent, and the violence makes the difference. As you can clearly see, the FSR is recruiting and building towards creation of a new communist party based on Marxism and Leninism. I mean, are we for real, people? Are we? This is what we're doing in America. This is absolutely not supposed to be happening. So calling these people out is going to help a lot to get some of this bullshit down. We got USAID. They're also tied in there somehow to this organization, the Lucy Parsons Incorporated or something. They're tied in. There's money flowing to these people and flowing in and out of there, and they're getting those signs printed up pretty readily. Yeah. We're fighting communism. If you can't see we're fighting communism, you're blind. Stop sleepwalking through America, people. Stand up.
Yeah, we saw that the SPLC, what is it, SLPCA or what?
Yeah, SPLC. Yeah. There's money going somewhere back and forth between them as well.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy because, communism is still illegal, but, we'll touch a little bit more on that, but we're going to hear what's going on with Guy and give you a couple other updates on stuff when we come back. We'll see you in about 3 minutes.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic place in all the land. Hey, I'm here getting cleansed up. You know why? Because Sugar Creek Goods is a great place by patriots, making patriot soaps, making me smell nice. And that's what's nice. Who wants to go down the street and smell of somebody bad in New York City? Hey, by the way, what's this thing for?
250 years ago, a nation was born, built on courage, driven by freedom, defined by patriots who stood their ground. Today, we don't just remember that legacy, we wear it. This is more than a shirt. It's a symbol of strength, freedom, and pride. I'm Steve Stern, COO of theflagshirt.com, and I invite you to celebrate 250 years of the United States with us. Wear your pride, stand for something, get your shirts today.
You know what is more disappointing than Gino Visconti, everyone?
My sex life?
No, bad cell service. Let's make fun of Gino. Oh, wait, he's here.
Well, speaking of the opposite of his sex life, these people have towers that are huge, and they're everywhere. And while you're traveling, you can use these huge towers, patriotmobile.com/ it bends to the right, I don't have to tell you, TAFW. And then you can talk about me behind my back.
Patriotic people doing patriotic things.
Corporate transfer, fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
Agara coffee. Why? Because it increases focus.
This is T-Mac, the Patriot, and I love Patriot products like Sugar Creek Goods. Check it out today on our website.
It's me, Joe the Box. And I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome, everybody, to the James Justice Show, tearing these airwaves apart with all the craziness that goes on in the world.
Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Red, Right, and True.
We are streaming live on America First Media and Television app.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Downey Jr. Podcast. Be free, stay free.
The America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
All right, welcome back, you guys. So man, we've been talking about a lot of different stuff today. And I feel like every single conversation that we've had could be like hours spent on the front porch, mulling over for hours. But we were just talking about Jake. Looks like his charges were dropped, and now he's got to go. He still has stuff going on in DC, in Texas, and also still in Minneapolis for when he kicked in the ice. But we'll maybe update y'all on that kind of stuff and talk about that more. This FRSO is really kind of disturbing. Not kind of, it's very disturbing because we know that they are not the only organization. And when you look at their Wikipedia thing that we had up here a little bit ago, they were established, it's been like 40 years that they've been established. I mean, it's not like it was just like they came up with it, in January of 2021. This thing has been going on for decades. So, but enough of that. I want to hear about Guy. You guys, Guy has some really amazing stuff that's going on right now. And we want him to talk about it because it's super interesting. Oliver,
There's our freedom dog.
oh, Ollie.
He wanted to come see Daddy.
So we're gonna let Oliver tell us what his daddy's.
Oh my goodness! Come on, Oliver. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah. So what I'm doing with everything, because I just stay busy, but I've got the website up. It's nomorepleaagreements.com. You should check it out. It's got a lot to do with people like to protest. It's the biggest protest I think America can do. We just need to stop these plea agreements. If everybody just do it, we could make Congress re-legislate the problems that everybody acts like they can fund or defund their way out of. You can't. You just can't. You got to force it. We're the people. We're the people. And if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't exist. They have their jobs because of us. We got to make them do their job. But I've got other things too. I'm currently fighting in the DC court. I've taken my J6 case pro se. I have, I'm trying to get the protective order lifted so that I can get discovery that my previous attorneys had that I need to get access to. That battle is raging as we go. I have FOIA requests out. I just dropped off another appeal, a 25-page appeal before this podcast to the U.S. Capitol Police Department. There's, never surrender. I understand we all went through some stuff, and it's not an easy process. But each and every one of us J6ers, we have something individualized that's in the system that we really kind of need to get individually because they're not going to give it back to us in a blanket. So, and something in there is going to be helpful. And so I'm trying to get everything I can. I have a whole lot more plans for the future with the whole J6 information that I'm going to be getting because I have a whole lot of other filings that I want to make. So there's more to come, and I am not going to lay down. I'm going to keep punching at the system. I'm going to keep fighting because that is literally what a good, strong American does when tyranny is here, and obviously communism. I think, I just want everybody to know that, that I'm not laying down. I'm not.
Right on. And that was, yeah. Thank God, right?
Oliver has laid down on me.
Well, and I mean, that was what Nicole and Tammy and everybody really fought for, during J6, like, please don't take a plea deal. But now I'm not saying that if you did take a plea deal, like,
right,
that's wrong on you, but like you did what you had to do. But 99% of all people charged get a plea deal, like, or taking a plea deal. Is that correct, Guy? 99%.
Yeah, it's over 95%. The numbers I've gotten was 99.6. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that they coerce you into something that you don't agree with, but you do it if it gets you something that they are making you believe is going to give you a deal. Uh, and maybe to some degree it is. If you murdered somebody and you take a plea deal for a physical assault and you only do 5 years of a murder, then yeah, that's a hell of a deal. But that's the rest of the people, they don't get charged with stuff like that, and they should take it to trial. Uh, there's just so many problems with the system, and it's not just my website that's talking about this. You just put in plea bargaining in Google search, and you'll find that there's law firms, there's law organization advocates that are out there talking about the same thing, but there's disparities, there's problems. But I'm using my platform as a J6 defendant out here to try to help push this, because this is something we need, we must have.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that there needs to be more light shown on that these are coercive tactics by the government.
Right.
And it's not, they're not actually deals, but they're saying what they do, like in Brian's case, for example, he took a plea deal. He was offered, I think, 5 to 7 years or something like that. Now, mind you, his crime on January 6th was throwing a flagpole that hit nobody and injured nothing and damaged nothing. So if he were being charged with what he actually did and he was being sentenced for what his actual crime was, okay, fine, like whatever. But in any other circumstance, that would have been a finable ticket and he would have never been arrested. You know what I mean? And so the fact that they said, well, you can take this 5 to 7, or we're going to supersede your indictment and you're going to be looking at 7 to 10. He's looking at being a 50-year-old man and
Right.
starting a 7 to 10 year prison sentence. Yeah, it was kind of yeah.
That's the thing. That is the coercion. That is the intimidation. That is the fear they instill to get you to take the deal.
Right.
And that's where the divergence of reality comes in, and the anger and the frustration that comes from it. I took a plea deal one time back in, I think it was '93. Dumbest mistake of my life. It was discussed in my sentencing hearing because it was literally a boot knife that I was using as a screwdriver, and I got pulled over for a taillight out, and I, the attorney's like, you just take this plea deal, and I was like, that's a screwdriver. What's the point? And so got coerced into it. And they're like, well, they're going to give you a year in jail or something like that, or for unlawfully carrying a weapon. I was like, what? That's dumb. But I took it, and then the attorney, after the deal was over, was like, "Oh, I totally could have beat that." Like, that's good to know, and that's not any different than the J6 situation. They'll tell you that oh, you're going to lose, and they can legally tell you that, even though they're supposed to defend you. They can tell you that. That's not really the issue. Once you sign the plea deal, everything your attorney told you doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, right?
Right.
And then after you sign the plea deal, as soon as you sign that plea deal, and you say, well, you think you could have got me off on this? And the attorney's like, oh yeah, sure. So if we would have went to trial, you think you could have beat it? Yeah, probably, for sure. But you asked me to get a plea deal, and they're like, but you're guilty. You signed the plea deal. The hell out of here.
And that's what what's going on with these defense attorneys, that they don't want to take it to trial either. They want to get your money and they don't want to do the work.
Another very good point is these defense attorneys are plea deal attorneys. They don't do a damn job. They can go in there. Anybody can get a damn law license if you go and get a few courses in and you get a law license, and you can walk in there and be an attorney, because all you're going to do is say, hey, prosecutor, yeah, I got this guy's case. What's the deal? Yeah. What's the deal? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, this is what they're offering you. Oh no, you're screwed. You're not going to win that. Here, sign this plea deal. Yeah, and then what do? You sign the plea deal, because you're scared.
Yeah,
right.
So if you stop the plea agreements, you're going to wipe out so many of these horrible piece of shit attorneys that are no good at trial and could never make it. They're going to quit. Most of them are going to walk.
they get the win, and then they get a promotion, and then they turn into our judges, and they don't know dick about dick. So,
Right.
no more pleadeals.com, right?
That's right.
No more plea
And
agreements. No
I'm
more plea
sorry.
agreements.com.
No more plea agreement. I'll get it right. I
I'm gonna
promise.
reel you back in, Jen.
I know. Lord have mercy. No more plea agreements.com.
That's right.
So you guys, we got a minute left, and I want to tell you, I received a package yesterday, and I'm super excited. It's from a J6er, and he has started a new business and some products, and he's sent it to me, and Tammy should be getting some soon, and I think Nicole will probably get some soon, and we're gonna try it out, and we're gonna keep you posted on what we think about these products. But it's Coach Ken Bonowitz. We're super proud of him. He's
Moving
succeeding.
and grooving.
Yeah. And so we'll let you know all about that. RIP Dolly Parton. We just found out that she's passed. It's been another episode of Freedom's Front Porch. Tammy, Guy, you want to say goodbye?
We love you guys.
We
Don't
love
forget to
y'all.
pray for us as we pray for you. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Amen. God bless everybody, and thank you so much for everything you've done for me and my family.
Thanks, Al.
For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be. America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of hope, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America, we stand tall and free in the America First